Magandang hapon at welcome sa PCO OCD briefing kaugnay ng Bulkang Kanlaon. Tiniyak ni Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. na handa ang buong puwersa ng gobyerno na alalayan ang mga apektadong residente ng pagputok ng Bulkang Kanlaon sa Negros Island. Nakapagpadala na ng mga food packs at kinakailangan mga gamit sa iba't ibang evacuation center sa lugar. Kasabay nito, binabantayan din ng Department of Science and Technology, Department of Environment and Natural Resources at Department of Health ang kalidad ng hangin sa iba pang bayan sa Negros Island upang malaman kung kinakailangan ding ilikas ang mga residente doon. Upang bigyan tayo ng updates, kasama natin ngayon dito sa NDRRMC, sina ASEC Rafi Alejandro ng Office of Civil Defense, si Director Chris Mathay ng DSWD, si Director Teresito Bacolcol ng DOST FIVOX, at online kasama naman natin si Yusek Gloria Balboa ng Department of Health, si Negros Island OCD Regional Director Donato Sermeno III, si OCD Regional Director Joel Erestain ng Region 7 at si Ginoong Chris Perez ng DOST Pag-asa. Siguro simulan natin ang briefing kay Director Bacolcol sa sitwasyon doon sa Kanlaon.
Okay, meron akong short presentation, very short presentation. I'll just give you an update on what transpired right now. Saan ko ba yung... So, hintayin lang natin mag-load yung PowerPoint. Okay, so again, I'm going to give you an update of what is happening right now sa Canlaon Volcano in Negros. Okay, next slide. So just to give you a context, we had on December 9, 2 days ago, Canlaon had an eruption that lasted for almost 4 minutes, and it produced a 6.8 originally. Yung calculations namin nasa 4 kilometers lang, but when we recalculated, umabot pala ng 6.8 kilometers yung plume, and meron din tayong namataan na pyroclastic density current reaching up to 3.4 kilometers on the southern flank from the crater, from the summit. And the December 9 eruption was similar to the June 3 eruption, but this time it was stronger based on seismic and other observation data. And prior to the eruption, before the eruption, we observed weak sulfur dioxide emissions, shallow ground inflation, nagkaroon ng, on the summit, nagkaroon ng inflation, short-term inflation, and we also observed over 80 seismic emissions since October. And next slide. So right after it erupted, we issued this bulletin raising the alert level from alert level 2 to alert level 3. And when we say alert level 3, it means that hazardous eruption may happen in the next few weeks. Next slide. And these are just some of the seismic signals that we recorded on our stations for that event. Next slide. And since January of this year, nag-i-emit na ng sulfur dioxide in great quantities ang Canlaon Volcano. And just to give you a context, when it's at alert level 0 or walang activity yung Canlaon Volcano, less than 300 tons per day lamang yung sulfur dioxide, or even minsan zero. But since January this year until December 10, naka-average po tayo ng 3,851 tons per day. And since we raised it to alert level 2 in June 3, umaabot na ng 4,508 tons per day. And the highest that we were able to record would be on September 11 na umabot to ng 11,556 tons per day. So for other volcanoes, for example, for Mayon, ganitong quantity ng sulfur dioxide, it means eruption na yan ongoing. Next slide. Okay, so these are also the seismicity plots that we recorded since we raised it to alert level 2 last June 3. And we were able to record volcano-tectonic earthquakes, more than 2,000, and low-frequency volcanic earthquakes, 493. So itong volcano-tectonic earthquakes is very significant because it means that there is magma na umaakyat and binabasag yung mga bato. Yung low-frequency volcanic earthquakes naman would signify movement of volcanic fluids, could be magma or volcanic gases. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we also did a ash 3D simulation of the ash dispersion for Canlaon volcano for the December 9 event, and based on our modeling, it shows na yung ash moved towards the western side or southwest and the western side. So this would corroborate yung mga nakikita natin sa field. Meron kaming team ngayon doon na kumukuha ng information about the ash dispersion after that event. Next slide. And these are the update, the ashfall reports. Meron tayong 4 provinces na nag-report ng ashfall, and it went as far as Antique, which is more than 300 kilometers away. So ganun po kalakas yung eruption. And again, marami din naman factors yan, depende sa hangin. Next slide. Next slide. And ito yung pyroclastic density currents. Yung report, mga areas na affected would be sa La Castellana as well as sa Canlaon City in Negros Oriental. Next slide. And again, ito yung alert level scheme ng Canlaon volcano. Again, we're now on alert level 3. It means that magmatic intrusion to shallow levels of the edifice is driving unrest, and there are indications that hazardous eruptions could occur in weeks. And this is the reason why we expanded the danger zone from the permanent danger zone, which is 4 kilometers to 6 kilometers, because there is a possibility na magkaroon ng hazardous eruption and magkaroon ng pyroclastic density current na lalagpas doon sa permanent danger zone, which is 4 kilometers. Kasi yung pyroclastic density current na observe natin for the December 9 eruption, umabot ng 3.4 kilometers from the summit. Okay, so next slide. And update of the monitored parameters between December 10, 12 a.m. to December 11 kanina, 12 a.m. We were able to record 31 volcanic earthquakes. This is higher than the 19 volcanic earthquakes that were recorded between December 9 to December 10. And yesterday, we recorded 4,121 tons per day of sulfur dioxide, higher than the 1,669 tons per day that we recorded in December 9. And yesterday also, there were 2 ash emission events at 3:31 to 4:10. 100 meters lang naman, and at 4:35 to 4:46, also 100 meters. Next slide. Okay, so these are the volcano observatory notice for aviation reports that we issued yesterday for the 2 ash emission events. Next slide. And outlook, so explosive eruption may be followed by similar short-lived explosive eruptions on short term, which may generate density currents within the 6-kilometer radius area on the summit. And again, our recommendations, evacuation of the 6-kilometer radius, and the LGUs should urge the public to prepare for possible alert. Step up to alert level 4 should the activity persist or worsen. So dapat yung mindset natin, hindi natin isipin na the alert level will be lower down, but we should prepare as if the alert level will go up. Okay? And kapag maulan, yung mga volcanic materials natin on the slopes of the volcano may be remobilized as lahars. This is very important, especially na umuulan-ulan ngayon sa Canlaon. And noong June 3, yung volume ng materials is much lower than what was extruded last December 9. Pero 2 days after, umulan, nagkaroon ng lahar. So we would expect the same thing dito sa Canlaon. Kapag umulan, magkakaroon ng lahar. And we also recommend that civil aviation authorities must warn aircraft to avoid flying close to the Canlaon summit. Okay, so next slide. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Director Bacolcol. Siguro manatili tayo doon sa physical and environmental factors, lalo't nabanggit ni Director Bacolcol na may sulfur dioxide at saka may ash emissions, pati na yung lahar. Siguro pakinggan muna natin ang ulat ni Mr. Chris Perez po ng DOST Pag-asa, lalo't may pag-uulan at syempre hangin sa bahaging yan ng Negros region, Negros Island.
Good afternoon po, sir, and I will be presenting the weather update as well as the air parcel trajectory and upper level wind field update po. So, mag-share lang ako ng presentation. So, basically, patuloy tayo nagmo-monitor po ng weather situation. Although nag-uulan sa ilang parts po ng Luzon because of the shear line, pero malayo po ito sa location nitong Canlaon area. And currently, nakaka-apekto po dito yung easterlies. Kaya kung mapapansin natin, hindi naman ganun kadalas ang pag-ulan kumpara dito nga sa na-apekto ng shear line. So, Canlaon is over the Visayas area and is currently being affected by the easterlies. Now, ang ating Pag-asa Regional Services Division in Mactan, yung Visayas PRSD po natin, ay nag-i-issue ng weather outlook for the Canlaon area up to the next 5 days. And this information is also being posted sa Visayas PRSD website and is being sent via email sa NDRRMC as well as sa OCD7. So makikita natin, for the next 3 to 5 days, ang outlook natin generally sunny, but with periods of afternoon or evening rain showers or thunderstorms. Dahil so far ay wala pa naman tayong inaasahang bagyo over the area in the next 3 to 5 days. Now, in terms of tropical cyclone threat potential, makikita natin yung week 1, the image at the top, which covers the period of December 9 to 15, ay wala tayong inaasahan na low pressure or tropical cyclone-like vortex na tinatawag. However, for the week 2, ang outlook natin from December 16 to 22 of 2024, may mapapansin nga tayo. Now, we are expecting a tropical cyclone-like vortex, which will emerge over the southern part ng tropical cyclone area or advisory domain, and then papasok nga ng ating air responsibility. Now, moderate likelihood of TC development. That is why we're going to continue to monitor and provide updates and issue the appropriate advisories and bulletins should the situation warrants with regards to this potential weather disturbance sa week 2, December 16 to 22 po. Now, the next slide will be about the air parcel trajectory and upper level wind field. Napaka-importante po nito dahil it serves as some sort of a guidance. So magkakaroon tayo ng idea kung saan papunta yung mga ine-emit ng ating volcano dito sa bandang Negros area. So far, just a quick update kung paano natin i-interpret air parcel trajectory to know the estimated locations traveled by airborne particles up to the next 3 days, no? Now, may color po yan, yung cyan line. Ito po yung hangin na papunta sa area. And then the yellow line will be the projected movement based from the initialization period. Wind speed and direction map, pinapakita po nito, winds not only at the surface level but up to the 12 km po above the sea level. Yung tinatawag nating troposphere where most of the weather system events takes place. And then we're using the global spectral model for this particular presentation. Now, gaya ng nabanggit natin kanina, ang ating monitoring ng wind field ay from the surface up to 12 km. So dito makikita natin ito yung location ng ating volcano. And then the wind fields wind speed and direction is mostly moving towards the west. So ito yung at this particular level, at 1.5 kilometer above the surface, ito yung projection natin ng wind movement, 3-day. This will be on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now, with the next level, makikita natin na at around 5 to 6 kilometer from the surface, ang movement po ng hangin ay almost westward din. And then sa around 500 hectopascal level, approximately 3 kilometer, ang magiging movement ng air parcel natin is basically west-northwest over the next 3 days. And then at approximately 9 kilometer, 7 to 9 kilometer above the surface, ang magiging movement ng air parcel natin with respect to the volcano ay more towards the northwest na, then recurving, then northeast. As well as 12 kilometer from the surface, ito yung area of concern. And then the movement of the air parcel will be basically west-northwest, north, then northeast. Over the next 3 days po yan. Oh. So to sum things up, makikita natin yung different levels of the troposphere where the weather system takes place. Ito yung magiging movement over the next 2 to 3 days. Basically, more towards the west and then west-northwest. Gaya nga po pinakita kanina ng P-box, almost same scenario. No? Although yung dispersion nga ng particle, more on magre-relay po tayo sa information being provided by the people. So that ends my presentation po, and rest assured na we will continue to monitor and coordinate with the proper government agencies with regards to the situation over the Canlaon and other parts of the country na apektado po ng mga different weather systems. Thank you po.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chris Perez ng DOST Pag-asa. Ngayon, magtungo naman tayo sa evacuation at relief efforts on the ground. ASEC Rafi po sa efforts po ng OCD. Then we go to DSWD.
Yes, magandang hapon. Thank you, ASEC Joel and Director Toto and Director Matay. So right now, as mentioned, we are now nearing our 48 hours of operations since the eruption last Monday, December 9. We have activated our interagency coordinating cell, and we are closely monitoring the ongoing evacuation of in Negros. So ang target population to be evacuated as per DILG data is around 84,549 persons, or close to 17,000 families. Yan po ang target. But as we speak, we have already evacuated 46% of that, or close to 39,258 persons, or 9,942 families. They are now inside the evacuation centers and outside po, yung mga talagang lumikas at nakitira sa mga kamag-anak and other places. Yung nasa evacuation centers po ngayon ay nasa 12,000 individuals. Mamaya po, Director Matay will give us the specifics on that. But yan po ang datos natin ngayon, nasa 12,000 and still counting, kasi ongoing pa po ang effort ng different local government units na meron pong communities around the 6-kilometer permanent danger zone. So we are talking about La Carlota City, La Castellana City, and yung Canlaon City. So sila po yung may mga immediate na kailangan i-evacuate. So we are more or less, meron na pong 30 or 29 evacuation centers that have been activated. And we are continuously providing support to the different LGUs, through the DSWD. Sila po ang in charge sa ating camp management. So ang effort po ng interagency task force, interagency coordinating center ng NDRRMC through the OCD is it's a whole of government approach po. We are using different resources, from the armed forces, from the Philippine Coast Guard, PNP, from the DPWH, para po matulungan talaga mapabilis at maayos yung ating evacuation. So this is we are looking at initial, as per PBOX, a 3-week scenario base po sa advice ng PBOX. doon po tayo tumitingin, no? And of course, based na rin sa recommendation nila, we are looking or planning for a worst case scenario na pwede pong mag-expand pa. Kasi pag nag-expand pa po ng or tumaas man ang alert level or may major activity yung bulkan, maaari pong lalawak pa yung magkaroon tayo ng extended permanent danger zone. Ibig sabihin, more communities, more barangays will have to be evacuated. And we are looking at kung mag-extend man tayo up to the 8 kilometer, no? Aabot tayo ng 116,000 individuals. Ngayon, kung talagang i-extend pa up to the 10 kilometer danger zone, aabot tayo ng halos 139,000 individuals. So marami-rami po ito. And of course, we are keeping in mind how we can further improve or ayusin yung mga evacuation centers nila by providing the basic necessities nandun, no? We have to provide yung wash facilities, yung liguan, yung mga kailangan, yung community kitchen, and of course yung mga private spaces na kailangan ng ating mga kababayan pag nandun sa evacuation centers. But of course, we encourage our mga kababayan na meron namang capacity to move na malayo na doon sa mga kamag-anak nila, pwede rin po yun. But based po sa information namin, yung ating mga LGU sa Negros ay nagkaroon na po ng twinning, no? Mga LGUs po na malayo sa Bulkan ay magiging host sa local government unit at doon po they will play host doon sa mga evacuees natin, yung internally displaced population. So right now po, we are, as I've said, we are nearing our 48 hours of operation. Tumataas po yung numbers that na ina-evacuate, and we are slowly dealing on how to make their stay sa evacuation centers na maging komportable. We understand papasok po ang Pasko, and we are looking at all the scenarios possible, and all assistance from the national government po ay inahanda na or naka-ready na, and we assure our local government units po na apektado that the national government is there. Yan na po ang pinakautos ng ating Pangulo kay Secretary Teodoro na to make sure sa lahat ng mga secretaries po, DSWD, DOH, na lahat po ng pangangailangan ng ating mga affected communities ay maibigay po. So ang DOH po is nandyan. They will be mobilizing their teams to make sure na yung health, no, yung health aspect ng ating mga kababayan ay matugunan din. And then yung ating DSWD nandyan to make sure that relief items are available. The OCD and other uniform services are also there to make sure that we give the appropriate assistance and provide the necessary materials, logistics na kailangan ng ating mga kababayan doon.
Thank you very much, ASEC Rafi Alejandro. Magtungo naman tayo sa DSWD. Director Chris Matay, please.
Thank you, ASEC Joey, ASEC Rafi, Director Toto. I have a brief presentation ready. Okay, testing. Okay, so I have a presentation for, an update of DSWD, and this is as of today at 12 noon. There are a total of 10,993 families, or 37,699 persons that are affected in 23 barangays in regions 6 and 7. Inside evacuation centers, there are 3,723 families, or 12,378 persons, currently taking temporary shelter in 29 evacuation centers in regions 6 and 7. While there are 585 families, or 2,100 50 persons temporarily staying with their relatives or friends outside evacuation centers. And the cost as of now of DSWD humanitarian assistance provided is a grand total of 4,736 family food packs na ipanamahagi na ni Secretary Rex Gatchalian yesterday sa Canlaon. And this costs 3.2 million pesos. We have distributed also hygiene kits and sleeping kits for now, and this is a grand total of 4.4 million pesos as of now. And the standby funds and preposition relief stockpile in affected regions and central hubs. So in Field Office 7, there is a standby fund, cash fund of 3 million pesos, and its neighboring field office, sa Field Office 6, meron din pong 3 million pesos readily available. And a family food packs quantity in Field Office 7 of 89,337. So if you can see that the affected persons in FO or Field Office 7 is 37,699 persons, while we have a stockpile of 89,337,000 family food packs. So we have more than enough family food packs for the affected persons in Field Office 7 or sa may Canlaon. And non-stop ang production pa rin ng ating mga family food packs, and non-stop delivery also of these family food packs. So we have, and mind you that these family food packs are good for 5 people in the family. So that's a good number. We've been stockpiling and preparing for disasters like this. And the summary of DSWD standby funds and preposition relief stockpile. This is nationwide. We have a standby fund of 94 million pesos plus, and a family food pack quantity of 1,521,860 boxes. And that's a total standby funds and stockpile of 2.1 billion pesos. So that's all for now for DSWD. Later at 6 p.m. we're going to have an update again of the latest data in Field Office 7 or in Canlaon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Chris Matay ng DSWD. Kanina po sa pambungad nabanggit natin na binabantayan ng iba't ibang ahensya ang kalidad ng hangin, hindi lamang sa Negros Region kundi pati sa mga kalapit na lugar. So, kamustahin natin yung pagbabantay sa kalidad ng hangin, pati na rin yung sitwasyon sa mga evacuation center. Meron bang nagkakasakit o meron bang mga naitatala pong nagkakaroon ng iba't ibang karamdaman? Siguro dahil po sa ashfall or sulfur emissions and the like. So kasama natin via Zoom si DOH Undersecretary Gloria Balboa kung meron pong maiulat sa atin. Ma'am, please go ahead.
Hello, good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Yes po, ang Department of Health through our Center for Health Development and IR, sila naman po ay nakatutok po doon sa affected areas, especially sa ating evacuation centers. And with our close coordination sa kanila dito sa ating central office, specifically yung ating HEMB Operation Center, ayun po, sila po ay nagbibigay ng assessment po sa atin, and well, so far of course because of the effect nga nitong ashfall, na-expect talaga natin na mayroong mga nagkakaroon ng some difficulty of breathing, tapos yung nagkakaroon ng parang anxiety attack kasi syempre nagpapanik sila, ganyan. But then, hindi naman ganun kadamihan, and kasi nga hindi naman ngayon lang ito, nung previous one na nagkakaroon na ng activity itong kanlaon na to. So, nakaprepare naman na po sila na especially yung ating mga masks, na kailangan para nga ma-prevent itong pagkakaroon ng mga respiratory symptoms. So, naka-distribute naman na po doon yung ating mga prepositioned na supplies nitong mask, and of course yung ating mga iba pang logistics na kailangan sa mga gamot, And kami rin sa central office ay naghahanda na rin po ng ating pang-replenish po ng itong ginamit ho nila na mga supplies doon. So, meron na po kami ipapadala po doon ang central office, pati na po ang Region 6 and Region 7. Kasi po, established na po yung aming CHD, ano to, yung NIR. Okay, so, magpapadala po kami doon ng mga gamot, mga additional masks, especially N95, tapos yung ating mga wash commodities, nutrition commodities, and yung ating mga teams din naman po ay may mga HRH, yung Human Resources for Health na po na naka-deploy po dun sa ating mga evacuation centers, and ongoing na po yung kanilang pagbibigay ng mga health services doon, kasama na po ang surveillance para nga po maagapan kung makita natin na talagang dumadami yung mga simptomas ng sakit na nangyayari doon, at nang mai-refer din kaagad sa ating mga hospitals, lalo na yung Corazon Locsin, Memorial Medical Center, kasi yun po yung ating DOH hospital doon. Ganon din po yung ating mga LGU hospitals and private hospitals para po ready na sila na tumanggap ng anuman pong mga sakit na kailangan ng admission. So yun po, kaya continuous po yung aming monitoring and assessment ng situation. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you very much po, DOH Undersecretary Gloria Balboa. So, kamustahin naman natin ang situation on the ground. Kung may pangangailangang partikular ang ating mga kababayan doon, o kung merong situation na kailangang i-address o tulong na kailangan mula sa national government. Kamustahin natin si Regional Director Donato Sermeno III. Siya ang RD ng Office of Civil Defense sa Negros Island. Good afternoon, sir. Balikan natin si RD Sermeno. Tunghayan naman natin si RD Joel Erestain ng Region 7 naman, kung kamusta yung sitwasyon doon. Kasi bagamat ang focus o ang kanlaon ay nasa Negros Island region, dahil po sa weather systems na nabanggit kanina, may posibilidad din na makaapekto sa iba pang lugar o kalapit na rehiyon. So, RD Joel, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Magandang hapon po sa inyo, sir. At magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Thank you very much po sa pagkakataon po ito na makapagsalita rin po kami. Anyway, dito naman po sa Region 7, I was there sa Canlaon City with the RD, Noy Sermeno, and our Task Force Task Force Canlaon Commander RD Raul Fernandez. We were at Canlaon City yesterday. Sa Canlaon City, we were able to discuss kung ano po yung ating mga strategies for the evacuation. Yesterday, we found out that there's still, kasi dito po sa Canlaon City, palibasa po ang hangin ay patungo sa Negros Occidental. Marami pong hindi nakaranas ng ashfall or makaamoy po ng sulfur. Kaya although marami pong lumikas din dahil matindi po yung pagsabog po ng eruption, no? It was explosive. Indeed, it was explosive because employees of the City Hall of Canlaon City were able to feel the explosion. Akala nila daw parang may bomba o may kanyon at nayanig daw po ang kanilang office. Marami daw pong umalis, pero marami din pong naiwan kasi nga po hindi sila nakaranas daw po ng ashfall. So, historically kasi, the effect of Canlaon pa nag-aalboruto, pumupunta po talaga sa Negros Occidental. So marami po na yun ang pakiramdam hanggat hindi nakakaramdam ng apekto mismo ng eruption, hindi rin nga sila lumilikas. So isa sa mga paraan po kahapon na na-discuss po namin, ang mayor po na si Mayor Batchuk Cardenas, he issued an executive order mandating the evacuation of all hanggang sa 6-kilometer radius. So ang ginawa pong strategiya po kahapon is ginawa po lang staggered, kumbaga may mga naiiwan pa po sa loob ng, kung may naiiwan pa po sa loob ng 4-kilometer radius, pinapaklear na po nila lahat ng yon. At yung mga nasa looban na po ng 6-kilometer radius, inuuna po ang mga vulnerables, o may mga vulnerabilities. At inuunti-unti na rin po hanggang sa mailikas na po lahat ng yon. And we also discussed kung ano po, meron silang mga time in motion hanggang sa kung sakasakaling umabot nga po ng alert level number 4 na aabot hanggang 10-kilometer radius ang ipinalilikas. Medyo malaki-laki na po yan para sa Canlaon City dahil ng 10-kilometer radius aabot na po ang sentro o yung poblasyon po ng Canlaon City. Kasama na po pati yung kanilang City Hall. Pagka umabot na nga po ng alert number 5, halos wala na po may iwan sa Canlaon City. Kaya rin po, lahat din po sila pinaghahanda po natin at sila po ay gumagawa na rin ng plano, time in motion, pati transportation, pati mga pathways po kung saan po dadaan ang mga evacuees papunta po sa mga evacuation centers. As we speak right now, they're also having a meeting with their local Dream Council talking about ito pong mga strategiya na to. Kahapon po, pinadala na po nila ang mga communities na ang kanila pong executive order. Kanina pong umaga, nagsisimula na po silang maghikayat ng mga taong lumikas at ngayon po nagmi-meeting na sila kung paano pa po dadagdagan ang kanilang strategiya. Bukas po, plano rin po natin na bumalik po ng Canlaon City at para tulungan din sila. Kung matutuloy po ang FIVOLCS sa pagpunta po bukas, kahapon ba sabi? Bukas kung matutuloy po ang mga opisyalis po ng FIVOLCS, pinaghahandaan din po natin na magkaroon tayo ng aerial survey around the volcano. Thank you very much po, sir. I think nandito na rin po si Director Donato Sermeno, who was with us also yesterday. We also spoke with the AFP. DILG was there. They are willing to help in sa evacuation. Sumulat na rin po tayo sa PNP to help us with the augmentation of the personnel, at least in Canlaon City, because we found out that only 60 personnel ng PNP ang nasa Canlaon City. So we're asking for augmentation. AFP is there to help the PNP. Nandun po sila to support the PNP just in case kailangan pa po ng extra manpower to help people in evacuating. Thank you very much po.
Thank you very much po kay RD Eristain. So, kasama na natin ngayon sa via Zoom as well si RD Donato Sermeno. Sir, kamusta po ang sitwasyon dyan?
Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Katapos lang po natin magkaroon ng interagency coordinating cell meeting at binigyan din po natin ang kahalagaan ng pagpapalikas ng mga populasyon natin within sa 6 kilometer radius ng bulkan, at ang pag-evaluate po ng readiness ng mga evacuation centers natin. So ang OCD National Central Office ay magpapadala ng mga 1,000 units ng tents. Ang plano po namin, ang gagawin po namin ay mag-set up na po kami ng mga tent na ito dito sa Panaan Park and Coliseum, na kung sakaling higit pa sa alert level 3 ang mangyayari, ay nakahanda na po tayo. Pati na po sa ang mga areas like Himamaylan ay uumpisa na po tayo na paghahanda doon ng pag-set up ng mga lilikasan ng mga evacuees po. And then ang mga agencies po na kagaya ng PNP, Coast Guard and AFP ay katulong po namin sa paghahanda para sa paglikas at eventuality ng pagputok uli ng bulkan. Ilan po muna ang
Thank you very much po kay RD Sir Meno. So we now open the floor to questions from our friends from the media. So dito po may microphone sa floor. If you could identify yourself and your organization po. Maris.
Ay, magandang hapon po. Si Mariz Umali po, GMA News, GMA Integrated News. Sir, Director Bacolcol, pwede po ba kaming magtanong lang kung are there any indications right now of further volcanic activity or a potential escalation of the eruption?
Okay, so as I've shown earlier, tumaas po yung number of volcanic earthquakes natin from 19 on December 9 to nagiging 31 ngayon, yung past 24 hours, and tumaas din yung sulfur dioxide natin from 1,669 tons per day on December 9, kahapon umabot na ito ng 4,000. So ito we will assess this on a day-to-day basis, but yung alert level 3, ibig sabihin yan, hazardous eruption is possible in the next few weeks. But of course, we will have to evaluate this one. Titingnan natin kung mag-escalate ba further, and kung hindi naman, we will mag-meeting kami with our staff sa PVOX, and then we may lower down the alert level from 3 to 2. But of course, depende din sa pinapakita ng Canlaon Volcano.
Pero nung sinabi niyo po na from 19 to 31 earthquakes, and then yung mga ibinubuga pa, sulfuric, hindi natin nakikita na may need na itaas sa alert level 4 at this time?
No, wala pa muna. Kasi isang araw lang yung difference. So we have to observe this for longer period of time. Several days, several weeks. We cannot really say, that's the reason why we're saying we assess this on a day-to-day basis. Kasi minsan nagpa-fluctuate yung parameters na measure natin. Minsan tumataas, minsan bumababa. So kapag magbigay tayo ng fixed number of days, baka biglang magbago ulit yung parameters natin. Or wala tayong makitang trend.
Pero gaano po kadelikado yung sinasabi nyo na ganito from 19 to 31, nag-i-increase din yung sulfuric na... Well,
ibig sabihin, nag-i-increase yung activity. So, dumadami yung earthquakes natin kasi yung volcanic, yung na-measure kasi natin, those are volcano-tectonic earthquakes. And ibig sabihin, may magma na umaakyat or binabasag yung mga bato. So, again, it's too early to tell kung uptrend ba to or kasi isang araw lang naman yung difference. Again, we have to observe this for a longer period of time.
Asek, matanong ko na lang din po kayo, no? Kasi I understand, meron na tayong mandatory order for the people to be evacuated. Pero sa balita po namin, marami pa rin pong nananatili within the 4 or 6 kilometer radius, permanent radius. So, ano pa po ba yung mga safety measures or evacuation protocols that has to be implemented, considering na may mandatory order na, mandatory evacuation, pero hindi naman po talaga sinusunod. Kahit na nandun na harap-harapan na silang pinalilikas, parang ayaw pa rin.
So, yes, that's true. No? We received the same information na meron talagang ayaw pa for different reasons. But on the side of OCD, the Interagency Task Force, no, our task now is really to prepare the different evacuation centers and assure our local government leaders, yung ating communities, na we are ready to receive them jointly with the local government units. Ibig sabihin, our evacuation centers should be prepared. May kumpletong gamit, may paliguan, may lutuan. Kasi based na rin sa recommendation ng PHIVOLCS, no? This might be a prolonged evacuation for our kababayan. So yun po. Kasi yun ang agam-agam nila. Saan ba kami lilipat? Meron bang lutuan? Meron ba kaming tulugan? So that's what we are addressing now. Because as far as relief item is concerned, we are assured by DSWD that we can sustain a long haul operation. No? Ibig sabihin, nandyan po yung ating family food packs, and of course, magkaroon yan ng deviation later on, magkakaroon na yan ng cash for work, food for work scheme, para po hindi magsawa yung ating mga kababayan na puro na lang dilata ang kakainin. Of course, that is part of our planning, and we're looking at addressing those concerns. So, ang importante sa amin ngayon, we have to make sure that the evacuation centers are ready. Yan po ang ginagawa. At priority po yan ng lahat ng mga ahensya. And of course, we have the logistics to really bring the people there. Ibig sabihin, nandyan po yung mga trucks, nandyan po yung mga makinarya, no, that will bring them. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng yung mga tao lang maglalakad. We have to provide the means. Kasi hindi lang po tao ang evacuate natin. Kasama po dyan yung mga hayop, no? Yung mga domestic animals na talagang alaga nila, even yung mga ibang hayop na kailangan nila sa hanap buhay nila, kailangan din natin ilikas yon. Yun po ang mga agam-agam ng mga kababayan natin. And we have to assure them that we are addressing those concerns. So isa po yan na ina-address namin para po makampante sila na sumama na we are addressing yung mga concerns nila. So dahan-dahan po. We know that this is the first time in a very long time na nag-level 3 ang Canlaon. Hindi po ito kagaya ng mayon po na every now and then sanay sila, no, na mag-evacuate, no, pag nagtaas ng alert level. Ito po ay medyo bago sa ating mga kababayan doon. And we have to endure this, and we have to do more in explaining to them. Kaya po si Director Toto Bacolcol will be there. They will personally talk with the local leaders, i-explain po kung ano ang panganib na hinaharap natin, no? Hindi tayo nananakot, but this is the reality. Bulkan po itong kaaway natin. At ang sabi nga ni Secretary Rene, distansya lang po ang solusyon diyan. We have to move away from danger. Kasi pag wala na pong tao dyan sa 6, kahit pa ulit-ulit po yung pumutok, wala pong mamamatay. Yung ashfall naman po, there are solutions for that. Nagbibigay tayo ng face mask. Meron tayong alternative kung wala pong face mask, yung mga towelettes, no? Babasain lang yan, magsara ng bahay. Kasi ang ashfall po, depende po yan sa hangin. So, pero yung pyroclastic materials, yung density, yung PDC na tinatawag, yun po yung delikado. Kaya natin kailangan alisin yung mga tao sa 6 kilometer. At kung kailangan 8, 10, ay gagawin po natin yan. Yan po ang goal natin. Dapat zero casualty. Meron pong warning na binibigay ito. We don't want na habang pumuputok ay magre-rescue tayo. Wala po sa libro na habang pumuputok ay magre-rescue yung ating mga kapulisan, ating mga sundalo. Wala po. Nobody will enter the danger zone habang pumuputok po. Kaya kailangan aalisin natin sila dyan.
Pero sir, meron tayong bilang kung ilan pa yung naiiwan dun sa within the 6-kilometer radius.
That's what we are doing now, no? Kailangan may tamang accounting tayo kasi puro pa lang general numbers ang dumarating sa amin. Sabi ko nga, 48 hours pa lang ito. Nearing 48 hours pa lang since the eruption. Basta based on our information, nasa 46% pa lang tayo based doon sa 84,000 individuals na target. But this is still subject for validation. Gusto natin ma-validate ito with the data from the LGU mismo, yung nasa ground. Baka pwede rin kulang ito or sobra. And of course, we will check also with DSWD. But as far as figures are concerned, nasa 46 tayo. But ang nasa evacuation center, ang sabi nga natin, parehas kami ng information with DSWD, nasa 12,000 individuals po.
Sir, I'm sorry. Ano yung magte-trigger for you to increase the permanent danger zone to 8 kilometers?
The trigger will come from
Director.
PHIVOX po.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, if we increase it to alert level 4, ang nakalagay dun sa guidelines namin would be we increase it to 10 kilometers. And if there is a hazardous eruption ongoing, which is alert level 5, 14 kilometers yung nire-recommend namin.
Any more questions?
Sir Glenn Nuego sa DCWB. Kay Director Toto. Sir, people are concerned sigurado dun po sa Pasko. Baka one of the reasons kung bakit ayaw din nilang lumikas. We have 14 days and sabi ng OCD, kapag magle-level 2, dun lang sila pwedeng maaaring bumalik sa kanilang mga bahay. Sir, what's the likelihood na ibaba po ito sa alert level 2? Kaya po ba at least bago magpasko?
Again, hindi po natin control yung behavior ng vulkan. As much as we want them to spend yung sa Pasko nila, dun sa bahay nila, not sa evacuation centers, but we can only do so much. Tinitingnan natin yung behavior ng vulkan. Again, we assess this on a day-to-day basis. Tinitingnan natin if there are uptrend dun sa mga parameters na tinitingnan natin, binomonitor natin, then we stay put on alert level 3. But kapag wala naman, walang significant event na mangyari, we lower this to alert level 2. But as to kung magagawa pa ba natin ito before December 25, mahirap po natin sabihin. Mahirap. Again, as I've said, hindi natin control yung anong magiging activity ng vulkan.
Sir Rafi, baka tanungin ng iba, bakit hindi po ready? Kanina binabanggit mo na kailangan pang ihanda ang evacuation centers. Ano pa po ba yung mga dapat talagang ihanda sa evacuation center? And di ba dapat nahanda na talaga ang evacuation centers natin?
Actually, yung mga evacuation centers natin are identified already. But syempre, karamihan nito ay schools, no? Just like in our experience pag prolong evacuation, kukulangin po talaga ang mga CR. Yan po, importante po yan because pag hindi po maganda yung ating sanitary environment, it will lead to another disaster. Problema na naman ng DOH yan. Yun lang naman. But these things, kaya naman gawin kaagad yan. Yung temporary shower area, magdagdag. These are things that can be done immediately. Kasi tandaan natin, most of our evacuation centers are schools. So hindi talaga siya designed as evacuation center. Ngayon, kung meron naman tayong ginagawang evacuation center na permanent, those can be used, no? So yun, ready na yun. But again, most of our evacuation centers are still schools. So kailangan po, dagdagan lang naman. And of course, yung pag-maintain, no? Lalo na kung prolong. Sana nga, kung gusto lang natin para matapos, mag-ano na siya bukas para makabalik na lahat, no? So, but our goal really is to prepare. Kung hindi pa po ready, gawin na, no? And that is the task of the national government ngayon, DPWH, DSWD, DOH, no? Ihanda ito or i-activate na. Hindi naman ihanda, i-activate na yung mga different camps natin kasi we call this camps, no? For our IDPs. So these things can be done immediately. Of course, nandyan yung based on our 10121 na batas, we have our quick response fund which we can use to set up or provide itong mga emergency needs. Meron po ang DOH niyan, meron ang DPWH, meron ang DSWD, meron kami. So, lahat po ng mga response agencies ay magtulong-tulong lang. Kaya importante ngayon, we need to know ano ang gaps para po matugunan ng national agencies po. And we are ready to do that.
Nakikita nating possible impact dun sa air quality, water, and of course the agriculture, considering na ang pinaghahandaan natin medyo long haul. And how soon are we expecting for the air quality and the water specifically to be affected by all these sulfur emissions and yung mga yung kung sakali mang meron pang mga ibubuga?
Oo, sige.
Yung sulfur dioxide, madali lang namang ma-disperse yan, lalo na kapag maulan, nadidissolve yan sa water, and kapag mahangin, madali ding ma-disperse yan. So ang magiging effect natin dito, yung lahars, kapag may long-term effect kasi yung lahar, siyempre yung vegetation affected, mahirap ng, siguro it would take several years bago ulit magkaroon ng mataniman. But for this sulfur dioxide, again, madaling ma-disperse po yan, madaling masolusyonan, madaling mawala.
Now we're not seeing any impact yet on the air quality and water quality as well, right now?
For the air quality siguro, again, mas maganda kapag DNR yung sasagot, and also for the water quality.
Based sa latest air quality assessment, as of today, fair air quality pa po ang nai-report sa amin. But ang ano lang naman dito is yung may mga sakit sa baga, no? Yung mga asthmatic, yun lang po talaga ang kaya ang solusyon dito pag merong ashfall, mask talaga. Yung malapit sa bulkan, mask, no? Or yung mag-cover. Kasi isa nga sa mga reminders natin, pag ongoing yung eruption at malayo kayo, you close your windows, everything, para po hindi. And of course, yung mga may sakit sa baga, alam naman ng mga communities ito or yung mga kababayan natin kung sino yon, they have to be double careful, no? Kasi sila yung vulnerable na talagang affected nito. Pero kahit tayo naman, yung mga normal, pag merong hindi magandang amoy, we have to cover our noses para po protection natin yan. So that's why DOH, kami sa OCD, we have been giving yung mga N95 mask, no? Nagpadala na tayo para protection ng ating mga kababayan doon.
Sir, Ron Calunsod of Kyodo News. May I ask lang po kung meron nang na-record na people getting seriously ill as a result of the ashfall or directly related dito sa eruption? Thank you, sir.
If si Yusek Balboa, no, is there, you can just confirm. But for now, wala po kaming na-receive na report na tungkol dyan, no. So wala naman po. Direct Yusek Balboa kung nandyan. But na-mention niya kanina, wala pa pong effect sa health.
Any more questions from the media, whether here or online po? Wala na po. Kung wala na po, para po sa karagdagang updates, manatili lang pong nakatutok sa social media pages ng DOST, FIVOX, ng Office of Civil Defense, at ng Presidential Communications Office, at ng Integrated State Media, kabilang ang People's Television Network, Radio Pilipinas, Philippine Information Agency, Philippine News Agency, at IBC. Ito po ang PCO OCD Briefing. Ako po si ASEC Joey Villarama. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.